Hey guys, welcome back to Lamelli Armory. Today we'll be going over the Battle of the FDEs. Alright, so recently my wife and I took out the Sig M18, the Glock 19X, Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, and the FN509 MRD to the range, and we tested them out. We rated them by trigger feel, by sights, and then by ergonomics, and then rated the overall points to the winner. We're going to show some range footage and also give my thoughts and opinions, and we'll take it from there. All right, let's take a look at the Sig P320 M18. First, want to show you that it is clear. Nothing in the chamber, nothing in the magazine. So this is how it fits in my hand. It has a manual safety. When I do shoot this, my wife also, we like to put our thumb on top of the safety here. When we go for a thumb over thumb grip here, the ergonomics feel really comfortable. And here's the trigger pull. There. And here's the reset. There. And it has the Sig night sights. You can put an optic on here if you wish. We'll look at that range footage. All right, let's take a look at the Glock 19X, showing you that it is clear. Nothing in the magazine. So this is how this one fits my hand. I actually ended up putting the beaver tail here with the back strap. Just felt more comfortable here. And here's my thumb grip. And here's the sights, Glock night sights. And here's the trigger, your basic Glock trigger. Nothing's been done to this firearm. And we'll take a look at that range footage. All right, let's take a look at the M&P 2.0. This is the longer extended barrel, the 5-inch. Again, showing you nothing in the magazine. Chamber's clear. So this grip has a very rough texture grip, kind of like sandpaper, but it does hold onto your hand here. So you won't have any slippage, constantly firing. Whether your hand's wet or you have sweaty hands, it's going to remain in there. And with the safety here, I like to put my thumb, just like with the Sig, thumb over thumb. I like to hold on to the safety down here. And you have your traditional 3-dot white sights. And this is the hinge trigger, which I'm not too much of a fan of, but it actually works. So here's the reset right there. And the brake. And let's go ahead and take a look at that range footage. All right, and finally we have the FN509. This is the MRD. Nothing in the magazine. Nothing in the chamber. Clear. Okay, so here's the grip texture with the FN and a little bit more of the rough texturing here around where your thumb would go. No manual safety on this model. Do have the trigger blade safety. This is the flat face trigger. And here's the reset. There it is. Okay, and this model has the raised front and rear sights. I actually ended up putting a hollow sun here. I know the other firearms do not have an optic on there, but I felt that these sights right here did not work well whenever I was trying to fire with just irons. So this did need the red dot for us. So we'll go ahead and check out that range footage. All right, so here we have all of the firearms once again. And so overall grip for me and my wife, we preferred was the Sig Sauer M18 for first place. For second, for me, was actually the Glock. Just the way I'm able to, once I hold this and I go on target, just naturally points toward the front and rear sight here. And I felt their ergos, even though most people will say it is thick, I felt for me it was comfortable. So I would do this one second. Third for grip would be the M&P, just because of how the texturing is. Also the thumb safety, I love holding that. So that was number 3. Then number 4 was the FN. I felt like if they had more of this texturing down here, it would probably feel a little better. Even had my daughter hold this, and she said that it feels like it was going to slip out of her hands. It does have that texturing, but I do feel like it should use more of this texturing down here. All right, now going over triggers. Number 1 for us was the Sig. Just felt that trigger was a lot better than the rest. Secondly, my wife actually chose second, was the M&P 2.0. And I actually felt the Glock trigger was second for me. Just because of how the break is, it's predictable. Again, I'm biased with the hinge triggers, but it does work. So I actually rated the M&P 4th and the FN 3rd, right after the Glock. And finally, the sights. Again, got to give it to the Sig P320 M18. I was actually the most accurate firing this out of the rest of them. I felt like I picked up the sights a lot easier. I don't plan to put a dot on here because I feel the sights work just perfectly on here. And then my wife also voted the Sig as number 1 as well. And number 2, she voted the Smith & Wesson 3-dot white sights. For me, second place would have been the Glock here. Just again, with the pointing, the natural aim, I can pick up these sights really quickly. And they're also night sights, so they're upgraded from the plastic basic Glock sights. And then I know this one has a handicap here, but I would put this, just with the irons, this was 4th for me. I just felt, even though they have a green fiber optic sight, it just didn't work for us. So it definitely, for me, needed the red dot. So for me, the 3rd would be the traditional 3-dot white sights on the M&P. All right, so that brings us to the overall winner here. It's going to be the first is the Sig Sauer P320 M18. Not to say that I don't recommend any of these others, but for us, this one worked out the best with the sights, the trigger, the ergonomics, even the magazine capacity. I know you can do that with most firearms now, but the way it comes out of the box, really nice, fits really good in the hands. I shot the most accurate with this one out of the other ones. Then for my number 2 was the 19X. Shot closely with the Glock 19X as the Sig M18. As far as accuracy goes, I do like, again, the way how it naturally just points and aligns the sights for me whenever I use this Glock. Then my number 3 overall was the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. Even though it has the traditional 3-dot wide sights, they work for me. I can pick them up really quickly. I would change the hinge trigger. None of these guns are modified other than the Hollow Sun added on top of the FN. And I know that they're Apex triggers and other aftermarkets to fix that issue, but it works for what it is, and I do like the extended barrel for accuracy. And then number 4 was FN 509 MRD. Again, did not like the sights. Had to put the hollow sun on there to make it more accurate, and I wish that the texturing here was also included down here. The flat face trigger. This trigger isn't bad. I just didn't prefer it over the Sig. Might be a little better to me than the Glock, but overall points for me, it's 4th. I appreciate you all watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know down in the comments below, which order would you choose to rank these? What would be your number 1, 2, 3, and 4? And we'll see you on the next one.